We have received lots of questions from you guys regarding to the payroll and how it's going to work with the subsidy and the fact that you've got a lockdown period. So I'm trying to make it as clear as possible. The things are changing on a daily or sometimes hourly basis. So the things might change by tomorrow. But as we stand today, when I'm doing this video, these are the information we have in hand and be sharing it with you. So as you know, from tonight is going to be the lockdown. So for those businesses, they can send the staff to work from home. They can work from home if the business as usual for them and the business hasn't dropped by 30%, then everything is as usual. They have to pay the staff and pay the PAYE. If the business dropped more than 30%, then they would have applied or they can apply for wages subsidy. And they can get that money, and they can also, if they have to, reduce the amount of hours or the payroll to 80% of the normal pay that the employee would have received. But for some of you out there, the lockdown means there's no business coming through. So at least for the 4 weeks, the lockdown is going to be there. It might be more, and we don't know. It's unknown to everybody. So, but the existing subsidy and wages subsidy announcement, this is what we have. But as I say, the things are changing, and it might be another announcement tomorrow or the day after. So based on information that we have today, if you have a full-time employee, in this example, I put $1,000 because it's easier to calculate. You can reduce it by 80%, so that means 800. You would receive $585 subsidy, which is this, and this is the amount that you can top up. You have to top up, sorry. So this is the amount of cash that you have to come up with. And also this is the amount that you can claim. So that amount is only claimable amount. So as we posted before, the subsidy that you receive is not taxable. It doesn't have GST, but when you pay to your staff, which is here, it's not going to be tax deductible. So you can't use this as an expense. Much create complication on accounting. I'll explain. As I said, this is a technical side. It's a bit complicated, but I explain it very simply how to deal with it in your accounting software or payroll. So that's the situation that we have. Bear in mind, all of these amounts that I'm talking about are the gross amount. So if you're paying your staff $1,000, that's a gross amount. Then the PAYE, KiwiSaver, any deduction, child support, anything that needs to come out of it, it will come out as per normal. So these are the gross amounts we're talking about. These amounts are taxable. Let's look at the part-time, and then we go and have the simple explanation there. So the part-time, I just use the $500 example. 80% of that is $400. You receive $350 subsidy, and that will leave you to top up the $50 there. So that's how it's going to work. Again, the $350 is non-deductible, and the money that you receive is not taxable, and it doesn't have GST. But that $350 would have PAYE deducted from it. Okay. Some of you, if you have business interruption clause in your agreement with your staff, you might be able to reduce your wages to the subsidy amount, which is $585 or $350. Depends whether the staff is full-time or part-time. But that's depending on your contract, and it might be challenged by employee later. So keep that in mind. If you want, have a chat with your HR advisor and see what they advise you on. But we're all about business, and this is your biggest asset, and we want to bring it back to normal and trade and have that goodwill there. So just imagine if you're a staff of that establishment and you suddenly drop your income by quite a bit to $585, you won't be happy. If it's a big drop, depends on what sort of salaries you're giving to your staff. And that's not going to give you the loyalty that you need from your staff. And when you're going to go back and start, some of you are going to be very busy. People coming out of the lockdown, they're going to go to lots of restaurants and eat out and drink and celebrate. And lots of building projects is going to be there. Lots of cleaning projects is going to be there. Lots of work is going to be after that. And you need those staff to carry on business and run a business. And to have a reputable business, the best thing that you're going to have is the best team. So I really suggest, I know it's hard for you guys, but keep your staff lives in mind as well, because they have mortgage, they have rent. I know you guys have as well, and I come up with some of the ideas that you can finance this amount. And if you need help, we launching our business continuity support, that we can help you plan this whole thing and make sure that you come on the other end of this stronger than before, and you still have a business value. Because if your business valued before this $1 million, $100,000, or $2 million, you worked hard for it. This is your biggest asset, one of your biggest assets. Sometimes for some of you, bigger than your home, and it is valuable, and you need to make sure you keep it alive. So you can check our website, and we'll keep you updated with that business continuity package that is going to be subsidized by government. Okay. So this was the technical term, and this is how it's going to work. But that technical thing is going to take lots of coding, and you have to create a different code in your accounting software and your payroll, and put that money that is from subsidy and put the other money that is not from subsidy. It can get very complicated and overwhelming. Okay. So this is what you need to do. Just make sure that you keep your employee paid for at least 80% of the normal pay. Okay. Just pay them 80%. So if they were getting $1,000 gross, give them $800 gross, and keep them employed, keep them happy, and support them mentally and financially. Pay them as normal through your payroll software. Whatever payroll software that you use, you can basically run it as normal. If you are a Flexi Payroll client, we will process it for you as per normal. If you're using other softwares and they're not supporting you, you can come to us, go to flexipayroll.co.nz, and we can support you and make sure your payroll is processed properly. And if you are doing accounts, we will apportion this later and code it correctly. So don't worry about it. So just pay as a staff normally. We don't want you to be worried more than what you are now. We want you to relax and carry on, go to your lockdown, keep safe, keep healthy, keep happy. And the only thing we can do is just make you stressless. So don't worry about it. We will sort it out later. It's not urgent for today. So don't worry about coding it. Leave it there, and we will sort it out. If you're really worried about the payment that you receive, you can put it in a suspense account, code it as a suspense account, and we will sort it later. For the wages and salary, just code it as a wages salary and leave it there. We will sort it later. If you're not doing account, you can ask your accountant to journal the total amount of subsidy that you receive out of the wages and salary, and they would understand what they need to do. If they don't, or if they have problem with it, or you have difficulty going through them, then obviously we would love to have you as a client and help you out through this hard time, and make sure that you're not stressed. So you can talk to us, go to wiseadvice.co.nz, and we will help you there. How can you find money to top up the pays? The first thing is the taxes. I'm not suggesting to not pay the taxes, but at the moment, government understand that the cash flow is the issue. You're going to pay the staff and everything, and you might not be able to pay your provisional tax, your terminal tax, your GST, and your PAYE. So if you can't pay that, your priorities, your employees, and the livelihood of your employees, the most important things, and your mental health, your stress, your life as well. So do not pay those, and they need to be paid later. But I don't think I'm going to charge any interest or penalty. So we can make the arrangements after the whole thing calms down. Okay. So that's one thing. If you want to prioritize, make sure you pay your PAYE, but the GST and tax have less priority. So PAYE is the most priority for you guys to pay. They announced the 6-month mortgage holiday, which should help you with the cash flow if you are having a mortgage. And that will, we have more details soon. There's not much detail out there. They say 24 to 48 hours. I would say by Friday, we would know exactly how that's going to work. There are also a government-backed loan, which is not secured, so you don't need any security, unsecured loan up to 500K. The criteria for that is your turnover should be more than 250K to qualify. But you can borrow that for 3 years. The interest rate is going to be good. The government asked the banks to provide a competitive interest rate on that. And you can use that to top up and keep your employees happy and pay some of the expenses that you have. There will be more helps and announcements, and we will keep you posted. Everything, as I say, is changing very fast, and we will keep you posted. Don't worry about it, because obviously you have lease, you have other expenses that you have to pay. But as we go through it and as government go through it, you have to understand they haven't experienced this before, and they suddenly have to make all these big changes. It takes a long time for everybody to become in line and provide these services. So it takes a bit of time, but do not stress, because the last thing you need is a stress. You need to concentrate, be logical, and make timely decision, and take care of each other, especially your staff. We include an Excel spreadsheet, which is a rough calculation. So it's a very simple Excel spreadsheet. So you can put your gross amount that you pay to your staff weekly, and then it'll show you how much money you need. And that should help you carry on. So just imagine that you're going to be at home, and your staff going to be at home, and they're going to spend time with the family. You don't want them to be stressed, and that's the main thing. Take care of yourself. Get ready for lockdown, and we will keep you posted. Just go to www.wiseadvice.co.nz. Or if you want a specific information about COVID-19, go to resources.wiseadvice.co.nz/COVID-19, COVID-19. Cheers. Take care of yourself. Be happy. We'll see you later.